Let's connect today, August 18th, 2024, coming at you for our live stream today for the next hour. Hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well this Sunday, August 18th, 2024. So there's not much going on in the Walking Dead world because filming is done for all shows right now. I know the Daryl Dixon show is going to start filming very, very soon, is the word in Spain, but we don't know much about that right now. So ultimately, guys, hopefully you're safe and sound. I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead universe. I don't know, other shows, other movies. What are you watching? What's out there? Are you checking out different shows, different stuff? Alien, Romulus, I don't know, whatever else out there. Let us know in the chat. Top chat, live chat, super chats are always welcome for really everything. We truly appreciate you taking the time to be here. All that being said, so yeah, I mean, we're watching Hard Knocks with the Chicago Bears. It's preseason football right now. It'll be going on for about another month. Once we get into September, it's going to be pretty good. So, we got 2 weeks till September 1st, and then we got Tulsa King on Paramount Plus. That's on September 15th. The 22nd is From, and then Daryl Dixon on the 29th. So that's pretty cool. That's one of those things where it'll be here before you know it, coming up for Labor Day. And, it's just, I don't know. Right now it's August, and we just got to bide our time before September. And I think the best part of the year, in my opinion, is really October, November, December. Hopefully when it cools down here in Florida, the fall weather is like the best in my opinion. But thank you, Tim, Negan1, Heart of Nixie, Zenith, and everybody else that's joining as we speak. So we have finished Umbrella Academy. It's a short final season, and I don't know, like they kind of just gave up on the show. Like I don't know the graphic novel or comic or whatever it is it's supposed to be, but I don't know, the way they ended it was just like, okay, that's it. Enough of that. We're on the last episode of Your Honor, Season 2. Haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if they're setting up a Season 3 or if they're finally going to end it. So we'll have to see. What else are we watching? We're watching an older show called Royal Pains. It's on Netflix, and, something just to bide the time. And I remember watching Royal Pains, years ago when I was in PT school or right after PT school in like 2008, 2009. And the show is still good. I like medical shows that are actually medical shows. I don't really like Grey's Anatomy and the stuff that's like that. Scrubs is okay, but it's a comedy and it's supposed to be silly. But, I like a little more medical-driven content in the shows too. So, James, hey man, how have you been? Have you ever watched Daredevil? Because they are making Daredevil Born Again, and I'm so excited for it. So, yes, I've seen the Daredevil movies and shows. So, I saw the one with Ben Affleck, and I've seen the shows that were on Netflix. And now, with the new Daredevil series coming out, Born Again, I believe Jon Bernthal is going to be back in there as the Punisher. I'm guessing that it's going to be Wilson Fisk will be back there, Kingpin, and I'm guessing that I know it's Charlie Cox is the same guy, I believe, right? And as Daredevil. And they're bringing back, I forget the woman's name, but Foggy. And they should have the regular repeat people coming back from what was a good show on Netflix. And I like The Punisher, and the Punisher show was okay. It wasn't that bad. But the Punisher, Jon Bernthal's Punisher, was who in your eyes is the best Punisher so far? Like, do you like Thomas Jane? Do you like Dolph Lundgren? Do you like the other guy that was in Ahsoka? I don't know, as the Jedi guy. And then who do you think about is Jon Bernthal too? So, but yeah, I mean, we're excited for shows to come back. The NFL football season is always good. Thomas Jane, Tim likes Thomas Jane. So I don't know if I told you the story about I met Thomas Jane. What kind of met him per se? So that Punisher movie was filmed in Tampa Bay, and when I was at the University of Tampa, I guess it was 2004. 2000, yeah, because I was definitely there in 2004, 2005. But It was 2004, I want to say, and I'm in the dorm, and the alarm goes off at like, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning or something. I don't know if somebody pulled the alarm or what happened on there too. So we leave our rooms, we go outside, and we're not sure what to do. We can't go back in because it wasn't a designed, fire drill. We just had to leave. So we leave our dorm and walk around campus because something is going on in the distance. And University of Tampa is not a giant campus, but it's not a tiny campus either. So we're at the one corner of it, and we're walking towards what is called Kennedy Boulevard. And we're walking there too, and we see lights and we hear stuff. So we're walking down there, and we see this group of people just standing there. And we're like, what's going on? They're like, they're filming a movie here. And so we're like talking and we're doing this. And then we find out that they're filming the Punisher movie. So we were like talking. And I guess some of the people came over from the production and like, we're being too loud. And so we're like, oh, because we're being, stupid college students at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And so we were like quiet, and there's people there with Punisher shirts and stuff. And then Thomas Jane actually comes over and he's like, hey guys, we're trying to film this scene real quick. And if you guys can be a little quieter, that'd be great. And so, yeah, it's like, hey, the people were all excited for what it was. And I didn't really know anything about Thomas Jane at the time. And he came over and signed some autographs and talked to us for a little bit, and then went back and filmed the one scene. It's the one scene where he's outside of the theater and he's in the car and he's following John Travolta's wife to like set up the thing. And it was that scene right there for it. And it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we met Thomas Jane right there, and they were filming it. And the movie's not bad, but it's not a great movie for the Punisher stuff, but it was before like rated R and this and that. And, it's an okay movie, and it's kind of cool to see Tampa because they highlight it pretty good. And then at the end of the movie, he's on the Skyway Bridge. That's the actual bridge here of Tampa going into, leaving Pinellas County into, Bradenton and Sarasota area. Windenburg says, PT channel is the best channel in the world. Thanks for all you do. Long live the PT channel. So thank you, Windenburg. Well, I appreciate the kind words. I don't think we're the best channel in the world, but I do think we have a good service and a good time and a good community for everybody on there too. So what are you guys watching? What are you guys doing? So like I said, there's not much news about The Walking Dead stuff going on right now. The biggest thing I heard recently about Daryl Dixon is that they're supposedly going to start filming the third season in Spain very soon. I don't know if it's this month or next month or what they're going to do, but the word is that they're going to start filming the third season very soon. And, initially I always thought and heard and something through the grapevine that Carol and Daryl signed on for 3 seasons of their own show. And so that's what the word was. They're going to be the Daryl and Carol show. And where does the story lead there? And I think they initially signed on for 3 seasons. So will they sign a new contract? Will it be more? Will it be, wrapping it up in the third season? Because the word is that Norman wants to play Daryl Dixon for many, many years too. So I see Rob K wrote to Lindsay, happy belated birthday. So happy belated birthday as well, Lindsay. I didn't know it was your birthday, but hopefully you had a good time and a memorable thing and memorable birthday and memorable day. It's always different when we get older for birthdays, like it's so like, remember when you're, I don't know, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever it is, like younger birthdays or even younger than that, 10 years old, where you have like people over at the house, or you go to Chuck E. Cheese, or you go to the movies, or you go to the mall and then go to here and whatever. When you have a birthday now, it's like you wake up. What do you do? Like what do people do for their birthdays? Because I'm a easy, low key birthday. My birthday's in December. So we always usually we went to the movies a lot because there was like Star Wars movies coming out, and that was always good. And then we would get like pizza and wings and just have a nice relaxing day at home and open some presents, and that would be it. And it wouldn't be anything crazy, Lindsay says, it was Wednesday, turned 42, definitely feeling it. So as a person in his 40s as well, it's different. Like when you have a birthday in your teens, 20s, 30s, now 40s, I don't know like what people really do, but I know I'm a low key person, and most of my family and friends are all back in New Jersey and Northeast and Pennsylvania and everything. So I don't really see them at all, so it's just my wife and I. And I don't really need anything big for my birthday. I just like to have the day off, or the next day preferably, or something, or both days would be great. But go out to dinner or have dinner at the house and take it easy, watch a movie, just relax, enjoy the day off is a win. Whereas I'm getting older and learning just like I like to have the day off to do nothing. Like it's been kind of crazy lately with doing stuff. Like I had my part of my roof fixed and repaired yesterday. I have some tree people coming to cut down some trees and limbs and trim them up, coming out probably in September, but dealing with that. Got to take care of the pool, got to mow the lawn, got to do this. And I told you I've got to get my golf game together because my dad's coming in October, and then I'm going on my golf trip next year. So I got to get my golf game together because I haven't really swung a golf club in many, many years. Isaiah asks, Bri, are you looking forward to Daryl's show season 2, The Book of Carol? Yes, I am. I'm excited for it. I don't think... I think Daryl and Dead City are two at the end of the road type of shows. Like, I don't think they're going to be amazing. Like, gone are the days where The Walking Dead is the highest rated show and viewed show and people care about all this stuff and whatever. I don't think, like, what's left for them to do in The Walking Dead universe? Like, they wrapped up CRM, Rick, Michonne, Judith, the connection there. But Morgan's still out there. Are we ever going to see that? I don't know. Do we need to? For some people, yes. We really need to have Daryl and Rick reunited. Do we need other shows? Do we need other spinoffs? Do we need other Tales of the Walking Dead? Do we need those things? I don't know. Like, it just seems like they're milking the Walking Dead franchise for all it's worth. And I get it, but I still think Daryl and Carol and Negan, and I would say Maggie, but Negan really carries the show for me for a lot of Dead City. And Rick and Michonne are still alive, and so is a lot of characters are still alive, but I just don't know what the antagonist could be. And they could come up with something. CRM was on its own, so they could come up with something, but I don't know if they will. Like, I just think they're kind of like having a little drip left in the Walking Dead faucet. And I don't know if they're ever going to ever get back to anything big. Rob K says, I saw Alien Romulus last night. It's not nearly as good as Alien and Aliens, but it's a whole lot better than both AVP movies. So, okay, that's cool. That's a good review, Rob. I mean, Alien and Aliens to me are set the bar so high of the franchise. And I don't know, like to me, what they have to do is I think they have to get back to the Colonial Marines, and they have to do something where that group is going to go attack the aliens from a point of trying to eradicate them, because I don't know what else they can do, because it's all been there, done that, the face huggers, the eggs, the queen, the implanting the eggs in a human, and then they burst through and then become an alien, and they're like, what else is left? Like, they were talking about that on the radio this morning, and I was like, it's right, it's true. Like, you're going to see someone's going to go in water, someone's going to get it way too close to an alien, the face huggers are going to attach on their face, they're going to use the pulse rifles, they're going to just do all the things that are there. They're not going to reinvent. I would assume Alien Romulus is not a movie that reinvents anything or does anything spectacular or does anything so well that you're like, wow, that was damn good. It was like, okay, they did things that are familiar. They did the woman antagonist, but this woman actress is not going to be Sigourney Weaver. She's not going to be Ripley. Like, Ripley is amazing. Ripley is one of the all-time best female antagonist heroes in movie history, in my opinion, right? Like, you have the Terminator franchise, the Alien franchise, Game of Thrones. You have like strong women in those movies and shows and everything. And you need people like that too for, stories that are good. I mean, we don't need it, but it's kind of cool to see that too. I'm excited to see it at some point, but I'm just going to wait to probably watch it on streaming, just like A Quiet Place, Day One, and just a couple other things. Like I'm just gonna wait for the streaming stuff because you get a big enough TV, you get some surround sound, you get a nice cushion seat, chair, sectional sofa, whatever, and you're like, I'm good, man. I'm good right here. Get some popcorn, get there too. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to get up. You can pause it to go to the bathroom. That's a big feature that you don't even think about. It's very underrated to think about that too. So, James asked, I don't know if you ever watched the show Heels. It's a wrestling show, but they are bringing the first and second season to Netflix. So yeah, James, I watched Heels. It was on. What was it on? I forget what was on initially, but Heels is a good series. And the way it ends for season 2, is it Stars? I think it was Stars. They didn't renew it on Stars. But I really hope that they wrap it. I hope someone gives Heels a 3rd season to wrap it up and finish it. Because the way they ended season 2 was like, now what's going to happen? I want to know what happens with the Spade family. Ace and Jack. I think it's an interesting story. Yeah, I like documentaries. I like wrestling from a standpoint of like getting to know these people and what's happening there and the business side and everything there too. Like to me, wrestling is kind of like the same stuff. Like the belt's not going to change hands except for major pay-per-views. And if it does, it's because someone's contract is up, someone is injured, someone needs time away, someone needs time off, But ultimately, the stories are what they are. There's this, there's that. There's just a lot of stuff in there. It's been there, done that now since wrestling's been around for a long time. And it's, how many more storylines can you really do? I don't know. But ultimately, it's interesting. And it still has a big following, which is great because it is good. It's good entertainment to see live and especially show your kids and everything. And it's just kind of cool that it's still around. And I was thinking about it there too, growing up in the 80s and 90s. The world's a different place now. It's a drastically different place from how we are connected, how we have instant gratification, instant purchases, instant here. You can watch stuff on Netflix very quickly on there too. And I don't know if you guys watched the 90s show, but I believe the second part it's the third part. The third part of that 90s show starts back on the 22nd. So this Thursday, I believe, is what I saw for the 90s show. I could be wrong, but the 90s show is a spinoff of the 70s show, and that 90s show is good because of, Kitty and Red, and then you throw in a couple people from the 70s show and everything, and, it works. It's a good nostalgia show, and I believe they're coming back with the next part of that as well. But other than that, guys, hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well. If you started back in school, if you're going to be back in September, just enjoy it. Hopefully you're doing well, you're making money, you're saving your money, you're investing your money. And times are tough. If you listen to the news, they're like inflation is down and this is down and that's down. But I don't know where it's down. I don't see where it's down. Stuff is still expensive at grocery stores and whatever until gas starts to fall and until like certain things start to come down. I don't really know like what's the actual thing for it because saving money is where it's at and stuff. You have to buy certain things, groceries, gas. That's the basic necessities. You can not do certain things, but you have to be able to do that as well. So, we're trying to make it through, just changing things up a little bit. And, I, a couple Sundays ago, I had to cancel or not do the live stream, but I'm feeling much better now. And I definitely think it's being back on Humira, which helps out a lot. And I think I was dehydrated and things weren't going well. And I might have had some sort of virus in my system or, stomach or, something wasn't right. And then all of a sudden it was better. And it's still not 100% right, but it's better and it's getting better. And I'm glad it's just not the pain like that anymore because that sucks. So it's not a big fun. Not a big thing. That's good. So Isaiah says, Brian, my birthday is September 29th when season 2 of the Daryl Show comes out. Yep. So that's a good birthday present for you, Isaiah. It's the second season. So I don't know what the future holds for Daryl Carol of The Walking Dead because, I mean, it works because Daryl works. Norman works for the franchise, for the universe, for there too. And yeah, I just believe whatever Daryl's doing, like, it's pretty far-fetched on paper that Daryl would go from the United States to France, stay alive, meet these people, I don't know what we're calling the wrong, like the savior, the gifted child, the golden child. Like, I don't know, like he's something that's supposed to be the next generation of things. And I don't know if he's going to be the cure or if he's going to be the actual, I don't know. Like that's a lot of pressure on this one kid. And to rebuild society, you're going to need more than one person. Like, I don't care if this guy is very smart, very intelligent, has all this stuff. You're going to have to take, scientists and electricians and, engineers and just everybody to work together. Like, you have to be able to put stuff back together again, rebuild society. Because in The Walking Dead, the universe, the wildfire virus and whatever has been going on for years. Like, it's been over 10 plus years in the Walking Dead universe. So many people should be dead. So many walkers should be gone. So many things should be decayed. But how do you come back to society? Because if you don't have the right group of people, how can you rebuild society in a way too? Like, if all your engineers are dead, if all your pharmacists or doctors or whatever are dead, or a significant amount of them, not all of them, but a significant amount of them, or so some people are in Australia, some people are in China, some people are in Africa, some people are in Europe, some people are in America, some people are in South America, some people are wherever they are, how do they come together to work together? And that's what I would be interesting to see, them working together that way at some point. But I don't think the Walking Dead franchise is going to do that. I think gone are the days when we're going to get a final resolution, a final story of all that. Now, my book series, I love to think about that too, because I've been thinking, I was thinking about stuff at the gym today about Ryan and his story and the future and life and all that stuff. And I was like, I want to get writing again. I want to get this going again and have this going because I have ideas and ideas and ideas. And I'll just be like driving down the street and I'll be thinking about it because as I'm driving around Tampa Bay and Pinellas County and everything, I just think about the story. Like, I'm picturing it as what it would be like living in a zombie apocalypse. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it helps me write. It helps me visualize. It helps me think. It helps me just see it, And if I can see it, then I can put it down on paper and then show it to you guys through the words, because that's communication, that's expression, that's how you see what's going on in the story. And so I'm just thinking about it more and more and more and more because it's a nice outlet. It's a nice thinking about it too. And I think I can't help but thinking about it from my life and my family's and everything there too. And there's underlying tones of just life and loss and people and how people see the world too. See the world sometimes. And just interesting, it's just kind of a thing that it's kind of cool because I always love talking to my patients when I work as a physical therapist here, that I'm like, I always like to see their opinions and think about their opinions of life. And, we talk about politics a little bit, and I always see, their side and how it is. And, some people feel one way and the other and there too. And it's always interesting to see, but we'll have to see where the world ends up this November for sure. Rob K says, what will Carol's first words be to Daryl? Maybe you need a shower? It should be something funny like that. Like, it's going to be a nice, heartwarming hug. They're going to hug it out. They're both going to tear up. They're both going to cry. And I wonder if, so do you think Carol saves Daryl? Because, Daryl, in the trailer, we know that Daryl gets in trouble. The Madame Jeanette and her people come after Daryl. And he has his gun on her. And he's about to fire, and then an explosion happens, and she gets away. The classic, the villain keeps alive, gets away to fight another day. Because without that, I just feel like we have to, like, I don't know, there's no villain, there's no anything. I don't know what the future of it holds for us, because it's be Daryl just hanging out. And, walkers are the problem, people are the problem, survival is the problem, because you think about it too, like it would be lawless still. Like the world would be lawless. There would be problems, there would be people, there would just be people trying to get over on people, not doing good things, right? It'd be a dangerous situation. And I just think about it as, what would be regulated. And this is in Europe now. So we're watching Daryl's European vacation. And then we're seeing Negan and Maggie in New York, which is, it's good to see, different parts of the world, different parts of life, different parts of everything. Because it's definitely something that, I don't know, it is a nice little sneak peek to look in there too. But I'll see you, Tim. Good to see you. But ultimately, Daryl, Carol working together can do anything. Carol saved Daryl and the group at Terminus, which is her epic savior moment, and then saved everybody again during the Wolves attack. And Carol is involved with saving the group time and time and time and time again. And so I'm guessing Carol is going to save Daryl, because Daryl's going to get in trouble. Daryl's going to be, because Carol's there, so she's going to have the plane with the pilot, and they're going to be flying over to France. And then Daryl's going to be in trouble, because Daryl tends to get in trouble a lot. He gets captured and kidnapped, but gets out of it. He gets tortured and beat, but gets out of it. And Daryl lives to fight another day. But Daryl needs help, and he needs Carol's help, and Carol's going to be there for him. So the fact that Carol goes on her own is a bit much. And you would think that she would radio her people and group and whatever too. Like, there's a problem here. There's a group here that's a problem in Maine, and with the Commonwealth and Alexandria and whatever, like it would be kind of interesting too to see some connections with the other parts of the Walking Dead universe, like CRM or whatever, because they did slide some stuff in there when Major General Beale was talking to Rick. He does say that we have people all over, and there's people everywhere that are all over the world, I would assume. And so is Madame Jeanette one of those people? Is, Cadrone one of those people? Are these people around that can help out, can do this, that are in hiding? And when the CRM fell, that would be a nice little segue to be like, yeah, my organization that I worked for fell. The major general that I was on a secret mission for was killed. And so we're like, oh crap, that's how there's fallout from those things that happened all over their things, what Rick and Michonne did. But I don't know. I don't really know and think that Gimple and the Walking Dead people like kind of know what they're doing anymore. They're just kind of winging it, right? I don't know. Diana asks, Q&A Bride, do you have any teasers, trailers on the Book of Carol? Well, there is the trailer. There's the one trailer that's going around on YouTube. It's on the Walking Dead's page, and it's just the Book of Carol, season 2 Daryl Dixon trailer. And then I watched it on Facebook or something, the first 10 minutes. So you get to see Daryl training and teaching Laurent how to kill walkers and stay alive, and Laurent is struggling. And then they find out that Falou and the other people were captured, that I guess Madame Jeanette captured them and wants information. And then they worry about, will they give up where the big church is, where everybody's at, the location of that. And then they're worried about this and worried about that, and they have to go figure out and go help them. And, Daryl and the priest don't really see what's good for Laurent. Like, they don't see what to do. Daryl wants to protect him and teach him and help him. And the priest is like, yeah, you don't need to do that anymore. He has bigger things in mind. And then Carol is still looking for Daryl. She goes to where Daryl was, and she shows up, and she sees the crossbow, and she has like an altercation with the people there, and the guy fires the crossbow at the motorcycle and takes out the front tire with the arrow, and they say that, you know, Daryl did this and he was on a boat and he got taken away, and there's a scientist and blah, blah, blah. And then Carol gets in a car, and before she leaves, she's like, yeah, your buddy is a couple miles down the road in the trunk. And then she drives away in the car. And I think that's how it ends. Like, it's a nice, you know, it's pretty cool. You know, that's the first 10 minutes. They showed much more than I thought was going to happen in the first 10 minutes. But, of course, like I said, there's the trailer that's going around on YouTube for the Daryl Dixon Season 2, The Book of Carol. And it's pretty good. It shows, like, the typical things, explosions and this, and Daryl's in trouble. And then they showed the one scene where Daryl is standing there, and then Carol comes behind him in kind of, like, blurry. And so, is that the first meeting? Did they already meet each other? We know they're going to reunite, and if it's only 6 episodes, they got to reunite right away. Like, don't drag it out. Don't stretch it out. Be in the first or second episode, and then get it going on there, too. So, we'll have to see, you know, what happens with everything. But, you know, they could kind of do the Rick and Michonne thing, where we saw Rick and Michonne reunited right away, and they show you the backstory of what happened. So, you know, I don't know what their plan is for it, but Carol and Daryl together is always good. It's a good part of the show. The actors do a great job, and their chemistry really works too. So, Donnie T, why she's the only one from the group that went to see Daryl? Well, probably because it's budget and money that they couldn't afford. So, you know, Norman and Melissa make a lot of money. They have huge contracts for The Walking Dead franchise, and they have for a while now too, because they're the OGs. You know, Daryl, Carol, and Rick are the original people from the first season of The Walking Dead. Maggie came around in season 2, and then she left, and was this, and so like people started coming and going and coming and going. They came in and left, and there too, and then there was a bunch of cast. But from a standpoint, I'm guessing it's just because of money. You know, you can say like, oh, everyone's got to be back for communities and everyone's got to do this. Well, if the CRM is helping people, if the CRM is dropping off supplies, if the CRM is killing the walkers, then what's the problem anymore, right? They should set up a governing body, police, whatever, to stop crimes and everything from happening. And if they do, people will be punished and everything like that. But I'm pretty sure it's because you have Norman Reedus and Melissa that McBride are making so much money. Like, they're probably making, you know, millions of dollars, multi-millions per episode. And so that's probably why it's 6 episodes too. Like, Carol was not in a lot of the episodes in the first season, but she was in the first season technically. Norman was the main focal point. Here, there may be an episode where we don't even see Daryl at all, let alone not very much, because maybe to save money or whatever. But ultimately, I would assume that it comes down to, because if you're making, you know, millions of dollars an episode, and so is the other person, that really hurts the budget. Which Norman and Melissa earn it, and they've earned it, and they're worth it. But, you know, that you start paying enough people all this money, then you got to pay the editing, and you got to pay the sound and the VFX and all the stuff that's coming there. And it's like, man, they start eating up a lot of budget. And I don't really know how many people are watching the Daryl Dixon show. You know, people are definitely watching it. People are watching on AMC and then AMC Plus. But overall, I just don't know what's the draw for as many people anymore, too, because it's just not what it once was. The same thing with Dead City, right? So you have Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Lauren Cohan for, you know, Maggie. And now, so I wonder if they deferred some of that cost as an actor and put them as executive producers, because I would assume that Norman and Melissa are both executive producers. I know Lauren and Jeffrey Dean Morgan are both executive producers, and I think Lauren even directed one of the episodes. So you're starting to get different points, different things, different stuff, because that's what you want to do. Like, if you could write something, star in it, direct it, produce it, like several different hats, you'll be making a lot of different money from all those different hats. That's where it's at. You want to be able to own the property or part of the property or part of the direction or part of the producing or part of the acting. If you have a different part of all this different stuff, that's pretty awesome, and that's where you want to be, connected in all those different avenues. That's just, I know that's where I would want to be too. So, but ultimately the Walking Dead universe is still going. I don't know how strong it is. And we're just trying to, so we're, like I said, we're wrapping up Your Honor, wrapping up Everybody Loves Raymond, we're into Royal Pains, the first season. And it's kind of cool, nowadays where you can just catch something because I never watched Everybody Loves Raymond on television. I never watched certain shows that were on TV that now I can watch it now too on one of the streaming services. Because, we have access to a decent amount of streaming services, so you can watch a lot of the good stuff on there too. And I'm not worried about commercials. Like, some people hate and it sucks to watch regular television with commercials now, but a streaming stuff, when you're watching it, sometimes those commercials are 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 61 seconds, and it's not that bad, because if you watch a TV show, like remember when you have 30 minutes from 8 to 8:30, and you're watching the TV show on ABC or Fox or whatever it is, and then you watch it now on a streaming service, those episodes are like 21, 22, 23 minutes. So 23 minutes of a 30-minute block gives you 7 minutes of commercials. That's a lot. 7 minutes out of 20-some minutes is like a third of the it's like, it's crazy. It's like so much you're missing out because of the commercials. Isaiah Bry, have you heard anything on Dark Winds Season 3? Not of anything where I know anything when it's coming out. I know they were filming it. I don't know if they finished filming it, but I know that Season 3 is definitely happening for AMC, and when it does, I'll definitely be watching that, because that's another show that came out of nowhere kind of a thing, and it's a good show. It's a good different take on things, and I like different shows. Like, if you know me, this channel, I like different stuff that doesn't have to be, it has to be worth watching, and good story and good development and good execution and good character development and just good plot and everything there too. But go on to the days where it's the same old stuff, where I don't really I don't know. I don't need to watch the same crap overall too. So, Diana Q&A Bright, what did you think about Deadpool and Wolverine? Overall, I liked it. I liked Deadpool Wolverine. I was talking about this to a couple patients of mine, and Deadpool Wolverine is a good cameo movie. The movie is not a great story really at all. It's just a reason for Deadpool to go around and find Wolverine and find all these different Wolverines and just be stuck in this plot to have all these different characters come together. And then, of course, they wrap it up at the end, and, that's what they kind of do. But it's just a good way to bring together the MCU, because it's been a long time. And having Deadpool and Wolverine together just really worked, and it was funny, and the action was good, and the fighting was good, and, it was good. It's worth watching for sure. I really like all the cameos and the connections and everything there, too, and it makes sense with all the different kind of Deadpools. And to me, the best part was the dog pool, was the dog. And, Wolverine's seriousness and Deadpool's craziness, and then all the different stuff that you get to see, and the callbacks and the connections. It just works. It's just a good, fun, silly movie that works. We don't need everything to be so dramatic and real, and this is that. The Walking Dead is not real. A zombie apocalypse is not real. A dystopian universe is not real. Could it happen? Theoretically, I guess so. Never say never. All that stuff, right? But ultimately, it's an escape from reality, right? I'll never forget the people that were when COVID was happening, oh man, I wish it was zombies. I wish it was this. No, you don't. No, you don't wish any of that stuff. Like, it was so funny that people were like, yeah, if it was like zombies were here, I would show people the real deal. I'm prepared. And you're like, you ain't prepared for nothing. So lose electricity forever. Like, never have electricity ever again. And let me know how you do. Right? You wouldn't have your social media. You wouldn't have your Instagram. You wouldn't have your YouTube. You wouldn't have your television. You wouldn't have your streaming. You wouldn't have anything like that. We would have to talk to each other. We would have to, play board games or go back to the dark ages with pen and paper and make sure, like all these crazy things. Like, it would be such a crazy thing if anything like that happened, Like, if you were in a cold area, you'd be burning stuff to stay warm. Your survival instincts, would people be able to survive? Probably not. I mean, we would have it too good. You couldn't just go to the store and buy stuff. You couldn't just go to the store and do this. It would be anarchy. It'd be crazy. It would just be crazy. It would just be a tough thing all around. And people would start to break down. You think people can't even handle everyday normal life, where they have anxiety, right? Like, everybody has anxiety and everyone's this and everyone's that. But it's the problem with coping mechanisms. It's not anxiety. Everyone has anxiety. Anxiety is a part of life. Being anxious is a part of life. Everyone has had that. If you have a nervous system and a brain and a conscience and, are a somewhat normal human being, you have emotions. You have happy, sad, angry, this, that, anxiety, right? It's the big things where you don't know how to cope with it. When something goes wrong, how do you react? Do you cry about it? Do you get mad about it? Do you find some substance to help you cope with it? Or do you just process it? Be like, that's all right. That's what happens in life, Like, that's kind of what would happen there too. Imagine not being able to do that. Like, there's people that have to talk to people, a therapist or whatever, and that would go away. All this stuff would go away. You wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. You wouldn't be able to, and people can't handle everyday normal life. Imagine not having the creature comforts of that. Society as a whole would break down super fast, and that nobody wants any of that stuff. We want calm, cool, collective happiness. So any of those things, and that's why it's an escape to fiction, not reality, right? It's an escape to read a book, watch a show, a series, a movie, whatever. It's an escape from reality. Like, it's not reality, right? Like some people go to have another reality to escape from their reality. That's why people do stuff online, play video games, do whatever, just get away from that. And that's okay. Like, the funny thing about it too is when we were growing up in the 90s, when the internet first came around, you would have your life and you had an escape to go online with instant messenger and chat rooms and whatever you did on there. And nowadays we're so connected that we have to put the phones down, put the laptops down, and go outside. Because we're so connected to our computers. Our jobs are so connected and tethered to the internet and whatever it is, social media or whatever you're doing on there too, that we have to get up out of our chair, get up out of our, posture, our ergonomics, our body mechanics, and go outside or stretch out the back or go for a jog or a run or a swim or whatever, That's kind of how it needs to be, because our bodies and our jobs are just wearing down. Mind, body, and soul, physically and everything else too. So it's definitely something that, we got to just be able to relax and have a little bit of all that. Like, it's really nice to just put the phone down and get away and escape from it all. It's kind of nice that I'm taking a nice long break of making videos, because making videos is time consuming. People like it, people don't, people complain, people this. You're never going to make everybody happy. And it's nice to just worry about myself, worry about stuff like that too, because you don't know if people are trolling or complaining or whining or this or whatever, because it's the internet. It's social media. It's online. You can hide on that stuff too, and there's people that do that. They stir the pot. They cause problems. And that's never going to go away because you can do that. Like, it's basically putting a mask on and doing whatever you want because people don't know it's you. That's the internet. That's social media. You can go make it a name and a this and a profile and all this stuff too. And you have a picture of, I don't know, a mug, a cat, or a famous person, right? And people can just go hide on there too and cause problems and spew all this crap on there. And it's like, man, you just got to get away from all that. But then we're so tethered to it because we're so worried about it because what am I missing? We got that FOMO. We need that dopamine response from getting a notification or you post something and you see how many likes we get. Like it freaking matters. Like, who cares how many people like my picture of my cat or myself at the gym or whatever on there too, right? But we're so tethered to that now. It's so connected to that. And we're never going to break that cycle because it's addictive, especially when you have success online or in any shape or form on social media. It's like, okay, oh, this one was pretty good. I got to get back to this. I got to do this again, And it's such a weird world we live in now too. So, Phantom Deluxe. So ultimately, it's one of those things where it's kind of nice when I go to the gym and I hold the door for somebody and they say thank you. Or I'm leaving behind someone and they hold the door for me and I say thank you. And it's a small little thing. And you're like, oh, well, you're supposed to do that. You would think so, right? You would think that you're supposed to do those basic things in life to be appreciative and make the people feel like, yes, I'm supposed to take the time. And most people do, but enough people don't, that it's annoying. And not to be that old man that's like, these young kids today, but it's mostly young people who don't say thank you or don't know, it's just like, man, our parents and people and society and shows and movies and everything on there too are like, I just don't get it. Like, no one had to ever teach me how to be nice and polite to people because it kind of just was ingrained how we were. And, whether it was teachers or my dad or my mom or my grandparents, whatever, it was like, teach people or treat people how you want to be treated. If you want to be appreciated, appreciate others. If you want to be thanked, thank others. It's as simple as that. It's a simple equation of that. You reap what you sow, you get what you give, you do that, whatever, all those little sayings. And it's true. And now they're trying to have all these little words and all these little phrases, all this stuff on there too, and whatever. But at the bottom line is, hold the door for people. Let people over in traffic. Be nice. Do the right thing. If I have 52 things and the person behind me has 2 things in their hand, let them go in front of you at the register. Come on, right? And probably everybody in here hopefully does. But enough people don't. And where it's common courtesy, common sense. But some people don't have it there too, so. Yeah, Phantom Deluxe, that's not a good question for here. So that's definitely not, you don't want to be asking, who are you voting for? None of your damn business, first of all. I'm not going to have a thing here where I'm going to have these problems where all this stuff, that's not a good question to have in here, too, because it'll cause enough problems in here where, because, people are very fired up in politics, and they have been for the past times on there too. So it's just one of those things where it's just better not to answer those questions because it's just not something that is worth having an argument over there too, because it's just something that is not worth talking about. Because at the end of the day, I'm a person that is respectful of other people, and I don't know in politics if that's the key. Because if you look at politics right now as a whole, it's this group is talking smack about this group, and they talk smack back. No one talks about what they're going to do. I mean, they're starting to do that more and more and more. But I don't care because whatever I say, if you feel one way or another about this group or that group, this Republican or Democrat or even independent, whatever you like, I'm not going to be able to change your view, and I'm not trying to. I don't really care that much about it. But I want to know what either side is going to do with winning. So if they're going to win or they're going to win, what are you going to do as president? Because they all lie, they all say things, they all promise things, and they can't do it, and they can't on there too. But ultimately, that's kind of the way it goes with things. And it's just like, I don't know if whoever wins, is the world going to be a better place? I hope so, but I kind of doubt it. Because people are so fired up. If this one group wins, the other is going to be so pissed off. And the same thing and vice versa. And then they do this and they do that, and they're going to undo this and they're going to try to undo that. And they're going to do, it's just a crazy thing where we're not getting anywhere enough, and we're kind of just played like pawns. The American population is just made to feel one way or the other, and it's just kind of sad. Because people are going to have a viewpoint, and we should. No matter, I mean, we're not here to change that, but the point is like, you can have a disagreement and it not be hate. Like if I talk with someone and we disagree on points, like if someone says the sky is blue and I say it's red, it doesn't mean we hate each other. You know, like if someone talks about bigger political topics, right? It doesn't mean they hate each other. Like also people in families and I guess relationships and, you know, whatever it is, they talk about politics, especially if it's differing views. They will hate each other for the rest of the time. Like if someone is a Republican and someone is a Democrat and they're both hardcore in their stances, they will not like each other for the rest of their lives. And they may tolerate each other until the topic of politics comes up. And it easily comes up, especially now because it's an election year. And it's just kind of sad that we can't really talk about things in there too, because at the bottom line, if we take care of each other, we can't take care of each other where people are so reliant on the government and all that stuff, in my opinion. I think people have to earn it. They can't just get free handouts, right? Like you have to be able to do something to show worth and earning it and deserving it or whatever it is, you know, and not everyone can do that. There's exceptions to every rule, but you shouldn't just get stuff for showing up. You shouldn't just get stuff for waking up. You shouldn't get stuff just because you woke up today. You know, it's not really fair. And you know, the biggest thing too is like one of the tuition, the debt repayment thing for college tuition, the college forgiveness, the loan forgiveness thing, right? I didn't get no loan forgiveness, right? I busted my butt and saved money and paid off my debt. And then I went to grad school and I did this and I tried to do it the right way. And I had some help from my dad and my grandfather who passed away. He left some money and stuff. So he helped us out greatly. But then I still had some debt and I had to pay it off and pay this off and do this and do that. So you earn it, you work, and you do that. No one is making anybody take loans. No one is saying you have to go do this. And then people are like, well, I can't afford life. Well, no one made you do it. So that's on you. Like you have to be able to pay it off, right? Like you have a credit card, right? If you can't afford to buy the things with the credit card, that's on you. That's going to ruin your credit score. That's going to be in the debt cycle, right? And I know stuff happens and, you know, medical bills and life, but ultimately, if you try to live above your means and pay stuff and not buy things that you can't afford and you can't pay off the credit cards, you know, that's on you. Like no one's making you do any of that stuff. When people try to live above their means, I will never understand that. To me, the best thing ever is live below your means. Make money and put it away, invest it. And then hopefully you get a raise or a new job or something and you get there too. And still live below your means. And have that and go on vacations and pay off your mortgages and pay off your bills and pay off your debt. Right? Like you have to choose where you put your money. That's just kind of what it has to be. But ultimately, that's kind of what everyone's different is. And that's everyone's different life situation. But you can choose what to do. That's the greatest thing about life is choice. Choice. You choose what to do. Like you are choosing to be here in this chat right now. You don't have to. I greatly appreciate that. You can choose to be a student, never stop learning, to do this, to go to school, to get an education, to like better yourself. Right? We've all been there and we've all had minimum wage jobs, whatever your minimum wage was, right? I started at $5.15 an hour. Some people started at like less than $1. Like some of the patients I talk about, they talk about less being there too as well. And it's definitely one of those things where, you know, it's interesting because when I was making $5.15 an hour, that was terrible. But I lived at home. Gas was 99 cents a gallon. You know, stuff was different. I was paying all this money for car insurance. And so like Negan 1 was $3.65 an hour in 1985. You know, and now it's like $15 an hour or something, like crazy amount of stuff there too. Like it's a minimum wage. Of course you can't live off a minimum wage and support a family of 2, 3, 4 people on a minimum wage. You're not supposed to. But I knew making $5.15 an hour was not going to be the best thing in my life. So I went to school and I got education. I got a degree and I furthered my education and got a degree and got a doctorate of physical therapy and became that because I wanted to have a job that helped people, but also made a good wage so I could take care of myself, my family, pay off my bills, pay off there too, and live a nice, comfortable life. I'm not going to be a stockbroker. I'm not going to be a person who makes over $100,000 a year. PTs just don't make that job as a whole. Now, some do, but a majority of us don't. And that's okay. Maybe, maybe not. But it's getting harder and harder for all these different things, too. The average person will not make, I don't know, $20, $25, $30 an hour. They will make less than that. So do you want to make more? Further your education. Go into a field like engineering or something. I don't know, like do something like that. IT, some sort of, computer software, something, whatever it is. There's a lot of good demand out there for it. But people aren't told this and aren't this, and they're lazy and no one wants to work and no one wants to get jobs and everybody wants to do this and everybody wants to do this too. So what are you talking about here? Hold on. Sorry. I don't know what this person is saying, but ultimately at the end of the day is that I appreciate you guys for being a part of this channel for so long. And we're going to continue to do live streams. We're going to continue to do different things and whatever, especially in a month when Daryl Dixon is back. We'll be talking a lot about that stuff. And then whenever Dead City is announced for when they'll come out next year, I'm guessing it's February is my best guess because, basically it's the end of... the end of September is the 29th. So it's like right there. It easily could have been October 6th for Daryl Dixon, but they wanted to do the 29th because traditionally The Walking Dead is an October and February show. So it's definitely something that Whitney says, I know this is off topic, but is there somewhere that I could buy the whole series of your book series without buying? Well, right now, Whitney, it's set as individual books. It's on Amazon, but I don't have it where you can buy it all together because they have to print the books together. I mean, the best bet, Whitney, is to get it is digitally, is on a Kindle, because they're much cheaper on the digital things instead of the actual paperback books. But yeah, right now I can't set it up as being like a big compendium. Unless I would have to charge like a good amount for all 20 books in one thing. Like I don't know how I would do that. I would have to look into it through Amazon. But right now, it's not feasible for it too. So, all right, James, you have a good one, my guy. But so we'll be talking about The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So if it's 6 episodes, we got it back the 29th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is November 3rd. So it takes it into November. So I guess that's why they wanted to kind of carry it in there a little bit. So it'll go September, all of October, and then into November 3rd is the Daryl Dixon season 2, and then filming for season 3 is going on right now. So that'll be interesting to see more about that. And I don't know, like until they actually come back to the States to film, and probably Georgia is where they would probably film. I don't know. Like until we know that Daryl and Carol were seen filming in somewhere in the United States, they're still stranded in, Europe. Like, if they're in Europe for too long, in my eyes, would be like, all right, wrap it up. Enough of this. Okay, so we had one season of Daryl. Then we'll have season 2 of Daryl and Carol together in Europe. And season 3 is going to be Daryl and Carol in Spain. And then what's the future of that? I said at the beginning, I don't know. And I don't know if they're going to greenlight a season 4. But I would assume at some point AMC is like, okay, is it cost feasible? Is it cost advantageous to have that for us? Like, are they making enough money for the Walking Dead franchise and the universe, and really AMC as a whole? Because it comes down to making money. Like, if we're going to make these shows, are they going to make money? Are they going to generate revenue? Are they going to draw people in? Are they going to have enough people to buy AMC Plus? Because if not, what's the point? And you have to have a reason for all that stuff. So Daryl, Carol, can they carry stuff? For sure. But can Maggie and Negan? I don't know. But those 2 shows are kind of what's keeping the Walking Dead franchise afloat. There's no news or idea about future shows, Tales of the Walking Dead, anything like that too. So I don't know what the future holds for all that. But thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate you taking the time. This hour went by quick. It usually does. I'll be back next Sunday for, there's one more Sunday before Labor Day. So we'll talk about any other shows or movies that we got going on. But let me know if you're watching anything. Post it in the chat. And I truly appreciate you guys. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals no matter what they are. Keep working hard. You can do it no matter what it is. Thank you guys.